Alright, so this is part 2 of how to start and scale your YouTube channel as a real estate agent. So let's get right into it. Hey everybody, my name is Lillian Chukwueze, and if you're new to my channel, every week I hop on here and drop multiple videos about entrepreneurship, real estate, and investing. So if any of those topics interest you, definitely go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and of course hit that notification bell so you don't miss when I drop the next video. So for those of you who have been following me, I'm in a different space right now. I'm actually moved and I'm working on my YouTube studio, so it's really bland, but it's gonna be really nice in the future. So let's talk about how to get over the fear of talking on camera. It's a very weird concept, and you might not understand until you actually try, but when you're talking to an inanimate object like a camera, and you're just going on and on for minutes, it's kind of weird. It's weird because you don't have any like live feedback or interaction with another person, so you kind of have to practice to get over your fear. I mean, again, it is weird and it's kind of just like unnatural, but you'll see in time, if you do continue to practice and make multiple videos, then you will start to get used to just talking to an inanimate object, and it will start to get a little bit more comfortable for you. I can't say I'm totally comfortable talking in front of the camera, but I am becoming more and more comfortable, which is the most important thing. It's never about perfection, it's always about progress. So that would be my #1 tip when it comes to getting over the fear of talking on camera, is just to basically talk on camera. Practice until it does become comfortable, just like everything else that we do in life. Another thing that I want to talk about when it comes to being on camera is understanding that you have to be open to criticism. Now, when you're putting yourself in the limelight, you have to understand that people are always going to disagree with you in some form or fashion. There's going to be people that agree with you, and that's going to be your tribe and your most important people. And there's going to be people that disagree with you. And that's not to say that you should absolutely disregard the people that disagree with you, but you have to be willing to be open to this type of criticism. And what's even better is if you do listen to this criticism and you feel like this is valid, then you can essentially utilize that criticism and make your channel or your videos even better. So I wouldn't completely disregard the negative feedback. I would look into it and see if this actually valid. You'd have to decide for yourself. There's going to be things that you absolutely just don't pay attention to. If it's like, you know, just really vile or just like really negative type of things, you want to definitely avoid that and not pay too much attention to it. But the things that are like constructive criticism that your audience actually wants to see you change, you want to take that into consideration. And even when it does come to the negative feedback, you actually want to take the time to respond to these people and give them your proper view of what you're actually trying to present. And if they're still arguing with you or just trying to tear you down, then just forget about it. But other than that, you definitely want to take it into consideration and or reply to this negative feedback, letting them know what you were really trying to say, because they may have just misunderstood what you were saying. So when it comes to negative feedback, just don't let it trigger you. Now let's talk about the length of your video. A lot of people wonder, what's the ideal length or what's the perfect length when it comes to making a video on YouTube? Now in reality, guys, there is no perfect length. There is no set amount of time that you should actually make your video, but you want to make your videos at least 5 minutes long. 5 minutes at the bare minimum, because you should be able to hold the attention of your audience for at least 5 minutes. 4 to 5 minutes is the average time that people actually spend on a video on YouTube, and that's a stat on YouTube as a whole. So basically, you want to make your video as long as it needs to be to keep your audience engaged and to deliver your message. If you can, try to make your videos 5 to 8 minutes long. That way you can at least include an ad or two when you do start to monetize your channel. And we're not going to get too much into monetization because it actually takes a good amount of time to get there. But if that's something that you do have on your radar, then you want to start catering your videos towards that. 8 to 12 minutes is even a better time length for your videos if you want to include more ads and get paid more from YouTube after you reach the mark of being able to actually monetize. And when I'm referring to YouTube monetization, I'm specifically referring to ad revenue, which is when YouTube pays you to place other people's ads on your videos, also known as AdSense. And by utilizing YouTube AdSense, this is just one of the ways that real estate agents are actually able to scale beyond their market by leveraging the power of the internet. And one quick tip in order to make your videos longer, if you're really stuck, you can simply just answer questions from your previous videos. When people comment questions on your videos, you can simply take that, add it to the end of your video, and answer those questions. Now let's get into equipment. First things first, you want to keep it simple. If you keep it simple to begin with, it'll be easier to get started and actually get some traction on your YouTube channel. So of course, the most simple way to get started with your YouTube channel is by using a cell phone. Of course, we all know that, right? If you do want to get a little bit fancy and you want to use a DSLR camera or a professional camera, I'll leave the link down below for the camera that I use, which is a Sony a6500. It's a great camera and I use a great lens, and it keeps my videos really clear and crisp, and I really like that. But in all reality, quality, you want to keep it as simple as possible when you're first getting started. The only reason why I have this professional camera to begin with is because I used to be into videography full time, so I was shooting videos on my camera and editing them. But you do not need a professional camera to get started. Honestly, I have a couple of videos on my YouTube channel using my iPhone, and I'm sure you guys probably didn't know the difference, or if you did, it wasn't a major difference in quality. And really quick, I actually did check to see if the A6500 is available, and they actually don't make that model anymore. They have since then made multiple other models that are better than the A6500, but I'll leave the link to the camera that I recommend to you guys down below, which is of the same model. Ideally, if you can, you want to get a camera with a flip screen so you can actually see yourself when you're recording. Right now, my camera does not have a flip screen, so I can't technically see myself, but I have set it up properly so I know it is in a good position. But it does make things easier if you do have a flip screen to pop out, or you have some type of monitor where you can see yourself and position yourself accordingly when you are shooting these videos. But again, if you want to keep it simple, use your iPhone, use the front-facing camera, and you'll be able to see everything that you need to see to make sure that you're in the frame. Now, microphones. This is actually something I recommend you get early on. I'm actually using a microphone right now. It's a lavalier microphone. So I have the mic here and I have the receptor on top of my camera attached so it can actually hear the audio. If you guys noticed in my previous videos, it used to be a little choppy because I didn't know how to set up the microphone. I just kind of put it together and started shooting, which wasn't the greatest idea. So now I know how to position my audio and attach my microphone to myself, and the audio comes out really clear. And I say that you should get a microphone before you get anything else because people value audio over video quality. So you definitely want to make sure your audio is as crisp as possible, because at the very least, people are able to listen to you clearly while they're driving or whatever the case is, versus, you know, focusing more so on quality, and people may not even be paying attention to the video, you know, more than the audio. So make sure you get a good microphone, whether it's one that's a wireless microphone or one that you can attach to the top of your camera. If you do get a microphone you attach to the top of your camera, you have to make sure that you have a wide angle lens, so then you can bring the camera closer, so you can also have the mic close to you as well. But the way my camera is set up right now, I'm actually using a 50mm lens, so my camera is kind of far back because that's a tight angle lens, so it brings the picture really close. So I have to use a wireless mic, because if I was to use a mic attached to the top of my camera, it would be so far away and you guys wouldn't be able to hear me properly. So make sure if you are using a DSLR camera, if you get a mic to attach to the top of your camera, that you're also using a lens that you're able to bring close enough to your face and still capture the audio clearly. Otherwise, if you get a wireless mic, you could put the camera wherever you really want. You can even walk around, but I don't really walk around in my videos, so it's not necessary. But if you guys want, I'll show you how it sounds. So if I get up and I walk around, even if I'm out of the frame, you guys can still hear me. Even if I like go outside of my door, you guys can still hear me. So that's the power of a wireless mic. If you were to do like vlogs or anything like that, maybe showing properties. Next piece of equipment I highly recommend you get is a tripod. Now, I recommend you get a strong tripod so you don't have to worry about getting one later, because the mistake that I made was I got a cheap tripod. It only went up to like here, so it didn't even come up to my, like when I stand up, it doesn't come up to the height that I am. So you want to make sure you just get a good tripod to begin with that, you know, extends as tall as you are if you want to do any standing videos, and that you also know is sturdy and that won't shake and everything like that. So just get a good tripod. It doesn't cost a lot of money either. And of course, I'll leave the link to that below. So let's talk about lighting. So right now I actually have a softbox lighting here, and I actually really suck when it comes to lighting, which is what I'm trying to figure out within my YouTube studio. But once I figure it out, I'm gonna make a video to help you guys, because it's been such a struggle with me. I really like having my videos to have a warm tone to it, but I haven't been able to really achieve that because the color of my light is really, really bright. So it kind of just shines like it's really white glow instead of like a brown warm glow. But I'm gonna figure that part out. But regardless, to keep the lighting as simple as possible, just use natural light, obviously, right? That's the most simple way to get things going. So if you're gonna record your videos, record them during the daytime so you have some natural light to use. Otherwise, you could get yourself a selfie ring. And if you really wanna go professional, just get yourself some professional softbox lights. And I really like the selfie ring lights because you can actually attach your camera to the ring light as well, so it makes it easier. It kind of makes it a 2-for-1, having a tripod and a light at the same time. Now, let's talk about editing. The worst part of YouTube videos is editing. I don't know about you guys, but if you've ever edited a video, you know how long it takes to do that effectively. So my advice is straight up, do not edit videos yourself unless you absolutely have to, meaning that you don't have a budget to hire out, or you somehow have the time to do it yourself. Do not edit your own videos because it's just way too time consuming. As realtors, we're doing 1,000,001 things. We're taking phone calls, we're negotiating offers, we're showing houses, we're doing listing presentations, we're doing buyers consultations. We're doing so many different things on a day-to-day basis. The last thing you want to think about is editing your video. So do yourself a favor and hire yourself a video editor or hire a full-on video editing agency. I personally use Fiverr to hire my individual editors, and I've also used Vidiq, which is a video editing agency, which is also pretty good. So you definitely want to pick either or figure out your own way, but make sure you do not edit your own videos, because I just do not recommend it. But again, it's up to you. If you can do it efficiently and still be a good realtor, then by all means, go for it. But just understand there is a big learning curve that comes with editing videos, because you have to at least learn the program that you're using, whether it be Final Cut Pro, Adobe Premiere, iMovie, whatever it is, you still have to learn the program. And then when it gets to putting on text, adding sound effects, adding background music, sometimes it can get very overwhelming, or if your computer's just not acting right or you don't have enough space, I'm telling you guys, in order to save yourself the headache, hire it out. I'm telling you. Now I want to go over real quick the differences between hiring an individual editor and hiring a full-on agency. When you hire an individual editor, you're literally banking on them to complete your project, versus when you hire an agency, you'll have multiple people that'll be on top of your project if one person falls off. But also with an individual editor, you have more of an opportunity to negotiate the price with them, versus with the full-on agency, they're pretty strict with their pricing. They're probably not going to negotiate any down for you. So there's pros and cons to working with an individual editor or a freelancer and working with a video agency. I've personally done both. Right now I'm working with an individual editor, but I do plan on going back and hiring the agency, just because I plan on putting out more volume, and I'm not sure that individual editor can handle that level of volume, because they can't edit any faster, but I need to put more videos out faster. So the next thing I want to talk about is batching your videos. The same way I do anytime I make my videos is that I sit down and I record 3 to 4 videos every time I sit down, because recording one video at a time just does not make sense. It's not efficient. We want to be efficient as real estate agents, because we're out doing so many things, as I previously described. So every time that you sit down to make content, you make them in bunches. Even when I'm doing my TikTok and Instagram, I'm making my content in bunches, because that's the best way to do it. If you take the time to set up your YouTube studio, you set up your camera, you set up the lighting, you set everything up, you got your scripts, all that stuff, and you only record one video at a time, you're doing yourself a disservice. While you have everything set up, you're all dressed up, you want to take advantage of it and record as many videos as possible in one sitting. That way you have multiple videos that you can leak out throughout the week or throughout the month, instead of having to record one video every time you sit down. The next thing you want to understand is how to optimize your videos. So you definitely have to use eye-catching thumbnails. Now again, you guys, there's things that we should be doing as real estate agents and things that we should not be doing as real estate agents. If you guys ever heard the term RGA, which is revenue generating activities, creating a thumbnail for your YouTube video is not necessarily a revenue generating activity. So you don't want to spend too much time doing so. If you are going to create your own thumbnail, you want to spend as little time as possible, create a really simple thumbnail and post your video. Otherwise, hire it out again. Like I said, Fiverr, you could go on there, you can get somebody for a couple bucks to make you a nice thumbnail. I'm getting thumbnails made for $15 to $20 for a couple thumbnails, and I'm totally happy with that. And sometimes my thumbnails aren't the most flashy thumbnails, and I understand it has to be eye-catching, but at the same time, I'm about progress over perfection. So if I'm able to put out a video with a decent thumbnail versus working on the thumbnail myself and trying to make it perfect and never putting out that video, the person who puts out the video and the most content and eventually increases the quality of their content will win, versus the person that's trying to perfect their content and only putting out one every once in a while. So just try to understand for yourself, or for the person who's making your thumbnails, just try to make them eye-catching. And the way to do that is to simply look at other videos that you're making a video about and look at the thumbnails of other YouTubers that they made and just refer to the thumbnails of those YouTube videos. Next thing to know when it comes to optimization is understanding SEO. Now that means search engine optimization. One of the key factors to being found on YouTube is making sure you have the right titles. Now I can talk for hours about search engine optimization, but to keep it as simple as possible for you guys, just focus on creating titles for your videos that are searchable. Titles that people are actually looking to click on when they're on YouTube. For example, when they go to Google or when they go to YouTube, they're actually typing in the search bar the name of what they would actually be looking for, and that would be the name of your video. So the next thing you want to do is definitely include end cards at the end of your video. And these are basically the cards that you see that will direct people into the next video that you want them to actually watch. And this is important because you want to keep people on your channel for as long as possible. Now you also can add cards midway through the video, but I've actually steered away from that as of lately because I realized that I don't necessarily want people to click off my video. And granted, if you do make the cards in the middle of the video, it does open a new screen. But I just want to keep people on the current video as long as possible, obviously to the end, and then redirect them to another video. But you can choose whether you want to do that or not. Another great way to optimize your videos is to start a conversation in the comments. And this is important because the more engagement that your videos get, the more YouTube will actually push it to the top of the search ranks when people search for those topics that you're posting about. So if you start a conversation in the comments by simply posing a question in the comments and pinning it to the top, it'll prompt people to actually answer that question. And the more they answer, the more you definitely want to engage with them. And again, that engagement will start to push your video higher in the rankings. And to wrap this all up, guys, the most important thing when it comes to YouTube is to start, obviously, and post consistently, and then promote those videos as well. Because you don't want to just post and you expect people to just come and flock to your video and your channel. It doesn't really work like that. It takes time to actually get that traffic, but you're able to help yourself if you do promote your videos. And I talk all about that in my ebook. And if you guys don't know yet, yes, I created an ebook. It's called The Ultimate YouTube Guide for Real Estate Agents to Close More Deals Without Cold Calling. So if you want to learn how to leverage YouTube and you want further information about all of this that I basically went over today, then definitely check out the link. It's going to be listed down below in the description. It's only a couple dollars, guys, and I'm promising you, I'm giving you the full layout of how exactly to start and scale your YouTube channel. There's only so much that I can go over in a video, but in my book, I gave you guys the full layout. So if you're interested in that, definitely check it out. Again, the link is down below in the description. And just to wrap it up, guys, how to get over the fear of talking to a camera is to simply practice. Don't worry too long about video length, but at least make it 5 minutes. Use natural lighting if you don't already have lighting. Hire out a video editor. Make sure you batch your videos, optimize your videos, and post consistently. And don't forget to promote your videos as well. If you guys enjoyed this video, all I ask is that you please like it, hit the notification bell, and subscribe to the channel. Of course, it really helps my channel out, and I would greatly appreciate that. If there's any of you who are new real estate agents who are looking to join my team here at eXp Realty, I give out all of my training when it comes to YouTube and social media for free to the people who are in my downline. So if you are interested, feel free to reach out. My team specializes in social media. That's what we use to generate all our business. So if that is interesting to you, please feel free to reach out to me. The link for a consultation is down below, or you can just join my team right away. Either or. Until the next time, guys, stay safe and stay blessed.